Leslie and I got organized for the call tonight, and I'm like, oh, this is the best part. To be honest, I absolutely love custom packages. I throw them into any tournament that I possibly can. I was just helping a rep on another team with a call tonight also, and just bringing up like how versatile they are, whether you're building it into the entry fee, selling it at registration, having a player come in or a sponsor come in and cover the costs, and even doing a combination. One thing I noticed actually on the call I had earlier today is I forget sometimes that even a month out, somebody might have more room in their entry fee than we know or realize. And so, for example, the call that we had earlier, their tournament is June 19th, but they still have room in that entry fee to possibly build in our $20 package. And then what was brought up is that we could still sell something, you know, so it hasn't been advertised on their flyers, but they know that this is going to be covered. It's already included, that they could go ahead and highlight some things for the next month. And especially when their early bird registration fees, I guess, go up at the end of May. And so I had offered up Sarah, since she'll be there anyway, and she's hoping to do this package, that, hey, we'll sell whatever you want, you know? And so I just love, again, how versatile these are. And so tonight, you know, going over our final training, you know, training number 3, going over the night before prep, or I would say week before prep, if you will. And then the day of execution, I'm like, this is the exciting stuff. So I'm like, let's go ahead and dive in. What we wanted to remind you of is that there are 3 different packages you can choose from. So even tonight, when I was making sure all of my information was right, our player packages have just now changed for me also. So what I'm used to, and what you'll hear in some of the videos that we're going to show you, is that some things have changed. You know, if anybody's been on board with us for over, gosh, when did we come up with the updated deck, Leslie? Probably a month ago.
Probably a month ago, yeah.
If you've been with the company for over a month, all of our packages are different. So again, I'm like, even somebody like me or Leslie or people that have been on forever, we still have to pay attention. And so this was really good for us to break down, to make sure that we're going to do things correctly, and then make sure that we have everything that you guys could need on the CRM and so forth. So I really love that this chart shows and breaks down. Leslie created this for us, you know, what things they're getting. And so from here, you know, just to reiterate, at the $20 super ticket level, you know, you're getting a scratch game, and that scratch game winner gets a savings pass. The $100,000 shootout, the one that gets closest to the pin during that shootout, wins a Cancun trip. The premium hole-in-one is of their choice always. And then depending on how many golfers they have, they get 2 to 4 different contest prizes. And one thing that came up on the call was they were a little bit confused because of our on-course fundraisers. They were like, wait, so if we get this package, we get to pick two to 4 of those? No. Whatever contest they have going on, whether it's putting, closest to the pin, longest drive, straightest drive, closest to the line, whatever they want, we will cover 2 to 4 of those based off of the amount of players that they have. And our prize is a tee box and a savings pass. And then what I love that Leslie has done here is, so if you graduate, if you will, from that $20 package to our $25 package, it's super easy on this chart. And again, on that sheet in our deck of all their options, Leslie's highlighted in red what differs from this first package to the second package. And so now, for example, with that scratch card, whoever scratches the highest number on one of those golf balls, which we'll show you on this training, they're going to win not only the savings pass, but also a trip to Cancun. And so same thing with the shootout. They're not only winning Cancun, but they're also getting a savings pass, and then so forth. I'm like, this $50 package is loaded with stuff, you know? And so now they're not just getting 1 hole-in-one, they're getting 4 premium hole-in-one prizes of their choice. And if you guys haven't really, I guess, taken the time to break that down and see what that looks like, a lot of tournaments usually have 1 hole-in-one that might be pretty cool. You know, whether or not that's a car from a local dealership that decided to give them a hole-in-one sponsorship, or if that's, you know, a trip or tickets to somewhere cool. I've seen all kinds of stuff for like a year's supply of golf balls, you know, or a year's supply of steaks, you know. I've literally seen it all. But what I love about ours is, say, for example, they choose the Masters. Well, whoever wins that hole-in-one, not only do they have tickets to go to the Masters, but it's for 2 people, and their flight, their hotel, everything is covered. And on top of that, we give them $1,000 of spending, like cash, while they're there, so that they're not stressed in whatever environment that they're at. They can truly go and enjoy themselves at that event, or wherever, you know, they have decided, the tournament has decided for them to go or to win in that hole-in-one. So thank you so much, Leslie, for making this super simple. And not only in this chart, but then as well in our deck. So when you guys are going through the deck, just keep in mind anything that is red and highlighted on that player packages page. I believe it's page number 4. That is what differs from the package above it. So, okay, so some of the not so fun stuff I want to go over, and it's really just how to prep. And so I feel like I always like to make sure I have everything I could need. I always have a specified super ticket box or player package box, if you will, that's just always in my garage, so it's ready in case for whatever reason I was gonna book something last minute, or somebody needs help at a player package coming up soon. I already have a lot of what we need, and that's because from doing so many of these over the years, you start to collect certain things that don't get handed out, like the scratch cards. So I literally have boxes of scratch cards that have never been used because I've ordered a certain amount, but maybe that many players didn't show up that day. So I'm not going to throw them out. I might as well keep them on hand just in case, because what will happen is, say a tournament says, oh, I think we'll probably have 120. Well, what happens if they get 144 golfers and you don't have enough scratch cards for them? So I am always prepared. I always have as many as I possibly can. And at first, that's not really feasible for you guys. But as you start to do more of these, just take note to keep extras in a super ticket box that is totally separate. What I want you to know is that once you get your materials from the insurance company is going to send you that set of scratch cards for however many golfers that tournament is expecting to have, plus the hole-in-one sign. But make sure that you don't just get that box and you're like, cool, my hole-in-one sign's here, and just open it the day of. And I bring that up because I have done it. So make sure that you open it, make sure all of the information is correct. What they put on there are logos. For the most part, it's usually just the tournament's logo. But if they have big name sponsors that, you know, maybe they listened to us and they took our advice on breaking down the player package and offering it for sponsorship opportunities, those sponsor logos are vital, that they better be on there. So you want to make sure you check it out, see if the logos are correct. And then it'll also say what the hole number is and what the yardage has to be at for it to be valid. The only reason why I am more strict on this now is because we actually had a golf tournament earlier this year, and somebody got a hole-in-one, but the smallest thing that I would have never thought was a big deal almost kept this guy from winning his Masters trip. And that was that the tournament told me that they were supposed to have, say it was 120 golfers. I don't remember what it was right now, but they had 137 show up. And I wasn't at that event, but that's no excuse. I should have checked in. If there is a certain percentage over what they're expecting, you have to call insurance or Amanda or your manager or somebody and have them update those numbers before the tournament takes off, because any of the hole-in-ones or shootouts become invalid. So not to scare anybody, but just make sure that when you get your final, I guess like order, after you put in everything on the CRM and Amanda or the insurance company sends it to you, ask for a copy if you don't get one, but you should be able to read through everything, especially regarding the hole-in-one and that $100,000 shootout. So that can never happen to your event. So he almost didn't win the Masters trip. I think that they ended up making it right and offered him like a dollar amount instead, which he was happy. He was like, oh, I don't really care to go to the Masters. But say it was somebody that was like a diehard, you know, could not wait to go, that would not have worked. So dot your I's and cross your T's on that kind of thing. What you also want to make sure that you have in your box would be Cancun certificates, which are on the CRM underneath the Cancun tab. But we're also making savings pass certificates. And to be honest, we didn't think about it before because normally in our old packages, they would send us AirPods, which were like off-brand, or Oakley sunglasses. So now we want to hand those people something physical, but what you'll see on my next slide is we still have to take their information down. So make sure that you add those winners with their name, email, and phone number to your tracking sheet for the day. And just make sure that you put somewhere on there that it's separate, that those people won because of the $20 super ticket or $25 elite custom package, whichever one it is. And it does not get added to your hole, whether you're doing the crank it hole or the TSP. You also need to create a table flyer for the player package. We realize that a lot of people are probably like, wait, what is this? And so I know in a couple of my last emails, I've sent out examples of what mine have looked like. But I've always had a base to start from because our old insurance company used to send us a table flyer. They used to send us a physical one and everything, and then would give me the digital form. So I just started going in and changing it. It was really easy. But if you need help, contact either myself, and then of course, anything that Leslie or Morgan create for you guys is going to be way better than what I can do and what has been done in the past. So just make sure that if you guys do contact them to make that table flyer so everybody can clearly see everything as you're going through check-in, and you'll see in some videos coming up that they have enough time to add that, you know, honestly to their plate and get it to you before your event. Right here, you also want to make minis. So what I do is I make that one table flyer, I print it off twice so it's on my table and I can turn them, you know, so people coming through the line can see them. And then I put all of my scratch cards in between. But when somebody purchases one, especially, you want to be able to hand them something physical so they feel like, okay, I just gave them money, now what? Well, I like to hand it to them and tell them like, hey, here's a list of everything we have going, everything that you're included in. And what I do is I'll put like longest drive number 4, you know, and then underneath like what that prize is. So then they have a clear understanding of all the different contests that they'll see, and then what those prizes are. And then they can kind of prepare for it mentally, because then they're not showing up to the 8th hole where they have some huge hole in one that they could win. And they're like, oh man, I wish I would have been like mentally prepared to try to win that, you know? Another thing you want to do is make sure you order tee boxes to either have on hand, or if you just print off the certificates on the CRM, I would put those together somehow to where you can present that nicely to that winner. I normally make and I should have taken a picture, an envelope, and I write like whatever the contest is and what they've won, and then I leave a spot for putting their name down, and then day of, we can fill in that name. But then when they open it, it's exciting. But me personally, I like to have these tee boxes on hand physically because the boxes look so good. I'm like, I love how they look. They're exciting to present, and most people want to grab something physical when they win something, not exactly a certificate. So in that case, definitely contact Amanda 3+ weeks out. The tee box company, just to be honest, is slow with shipping. So if you do want to have them physically there, then you need to reach out to her ASAP and just find out like, hey, is this possible for me to have the physical ones for my event? Another thing would be to coordinate the team that's going to help you. So most of my events, I already know if I have a player package there, I'm most likely, I'd be shocked if I don't have a crinkle hole and, you know, the TSP. So in that case, I just contact whoever's covering the other hole that I'm not covering. And I ask them if they'll come and help me registration for, you know, 1.5 to 2 hours, and I'll give them $50 for coming early and just helping me either sell it, or if it's built in, I just have them telling the guys to fill out their scratch card games and handing them a piece of paper with all their contests and prizes that they can win. So it can be very easy. And of course you can negotiate other things, but what I like to do that I don't mind teaching everybody is that I would guarantee $50. That's time out of their day. It's already a longer day out there on the golf course. But if they'll just come and help you and say, for example, you are selling that super ticket, well, if you absolutely kill those sales and you do amazing, then float them an extra however much, but at least they're expecting 50 and then they're excited, that you were able to give them more. If, for example, you are only doing a player package or you're doing a player package and only one hole that you're covering, I have in the past, like just checked with the organization. I'm like, hey, do you have 1 to 2 volunteers that would be able to help me at registration? And I don't think that that's uncommon. The only thing I would want you guys to be cognizant of is just not putting pressure on them that you need those people. So it is up to you. And if they have some extra ones, I would spin it and be like, hey, it really does help with the sales if somebody from your actual charity is there telling them, hey, you guys should get this. Or if it's like a school, for example, they probably know a lot of those parents that are coming to play. So it just helps, having somebody that's already well known or is tied in with that charity. And they don't have to be the best salesman, but them helping you sell it and it looking like it's part of the entire event and you're not just an outside company could really end up helping you. Before I go on to the next page of information, is there any questions on just how to prep like the week or the night before?
Audra. Hi.
Oh, hi.
So, just a little tidbit here. On a super ticket prior, we just had it on Saturday. We had 80 players originally set up for this tournament. And, it was like, we didn't know, how this was going to go. And literally like 2 days before, they'd added like 30 more players.
Yeah.
So you never know what's going to happen. I mean, and so I called in to Amanda and we ended up having to add, 30 more and we raised it to 110 for the insurance. And that is out of, that range of, percentage. That's way out of the range of percentage. So
And what she means is the insurance allows you, I think it's 3%. If I don't know if that's correct or not, but they allow you to be off in your numbers about 3%. So if you're above that and like she was saying, if you have 30 more golfers that get added on last minute, none of your hole-in-ones or shootouts are gonna count or be something that you can do at that event because you have way more than what you paid for.
And it was like, I mean, seriously, how exciting for
Yeah,
them.
it was a good problem.
And we're like, that's the best problem we could ever have. So, and then I did contact the course as well. So, and just let them know. And they were totally excited too,
Yeah.
and we coordinated with each other so that, and he wrote back to me saying, yes, that sounds right. The day of the event. So being constant contact. And I was literally flying to Kentucky when this was all happening. So, I mean, it's not something you have to be there for, but you have to be aware of what's going on, where you're at, and, having good people on the ground, working with you is like so key. And, big props to Alyssa, who's, huge here in California. I love her to death. And she's like a rock star, learned from Audra, but she, handled it all very well. And thank
And
you, Audra.
Alyssa, by the way, she did her first super ticket the day before.
Yeah.
So Alyssa was assisting. Sally booked it. Noilani went ahead and organized all of it. Sally had like the contact for the tournament on Saturday. Noilani went in and she knows how to order it, how to contact the golf course, how to contact the tournament and get everything to ideally run smoothly.
Prep
Well,
it.
then,
Yeah.
Alyssa and Sally had to make it happen the day of, which we'll show you in a little bit what the heck that even looks like. And if anybody on this call has never seen like a player package or a mulligan package or anything like that at a tournament, Don't feel alone and not knowing what the heck we're talking about, because it did not make a lick of sense to me until I was at a tournament physically and saw it.
But it's so much fun. And oh my gosh, these girls really did an amazing job. But
That's it.
like just being on it and on top of it is key. So great job.
Thank you. I'm glad that you joined. I knew you were gonna have some nuggets for us. So a couple things I want to show you guys that I like to have in my box. So I'm hoping you can see my list over here, that it's not too small, but I have photos of most of those things to the right. Of course, you want to have your scratch cards in your box. You want to have your certificates for Cancun, which again are on the CRM. We will have the Hero Program Savings Pass gift certificate on there as well. Leslie and Morgan are all over it. You need a set of pens and pennies for these scratch cards over here so they can fill out their name, email, or phone number so that we can add them to our lists that we have. And then the pennies help them scratch those 3 golf balls. It does not work with your nail or like the tip of a pen. It does not. I don't know why, but pennies are the only thing that helps you scratch those off. I like a highlighter so that when you're filling out this reconciliation form for like a super ticket or elite custom package, when you go and you hand this to them, and I'll zoom in to show you. Oh, I will try to zoom in to show you. One thing that can get lost is you're going to write down like the 4 shootout participants that are here, but I usually put what the prize is ahead of time. I have most of my sheet already filled out, with like the name of the event, when the registration time is, all these different things. I always have these prizes written down here. And then of course, whatever contest they are, but you don't know which one of these 4 is going to get closest to the pin to win that prize. So having a highlighter to just go, oh, boom, number 2, Todd Adams, he won this prize here, and it's highlighted, and it's easier for the tournament director, who will most likely be the one on the mic going through and announcing all the winners and then giving them their prizes and stuff, unless they really want you up there, which also happens. Then it just makes it so much easier for them to follow and see what happened, who's getting what, and so on. Okay, let's see if I can zoom back out. I always have a separate clipboard in that box. Again, I am pro not taking something out of a box to move to another box. I have them all separate, so then that way I can go, boom, here's my super ticket box. Boom, I'm going to leave this one so it's out in the hole. It's already ready for me. And I have everything planned out ahead of time. And then, make sure you have your prizes, like the tee boxes. You want to have a jar if you're selling it at registration to hold all the money while you're up there. You want to have, 1 to 2 square readers for you and or your helpers. I have learned the hard way with this many times. I will forget to have 1 to 2 in the super ticket box. And I think, oh, in the morning when I go set up my hole before registration starts, oh, I'll remember to grab it out of that box. I don't. And then you're sitting there with 100+ guys all trying to hurry up and check in. And you're sitting there trying to type in those numbers. It's not going to happen. Just make the box. Again, you want to have extra reconciliation sheets right there too, in case you happen to mess something up. And then one thing that won't necessarily be inside of your box, but you want to make sure you don't forget, is that premium hole-in-one sign or whole signs if they did the $50 package. So moving on, setting up day of. So this kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about. I personally have tried all kinds of different time frames. I do whatever I can if I'm doing a player package to get there 60 to 90 minutes before that registration start time. And what I also look at is if that tournament is only giving their people an hour to an hour and a half of a registration, I count it off of being 2 hours before their shotgun start time. So what I mean is, if their shotgun start time is at 9 a.m., but they have posted that their registration starts at 8, I know how golfers are, and there's going to be a big handful of them that are there 2 hours early because they want to take their time, they want to go get food and drinks, they want to check in, and they don't want to deal with the crowd. So what I would do is I would get there about 60 to 90 minutes before that 2 hour prior shotgun start time. So I guess to like reiterate, 9 a.m. shotgun, 7 a.m. registration time. So I am there probably about 5:30 or 6 o'clock. And the reason is when I get there, I go drop off my player package box or whatever my items are at those registration tables. If someone is around at that time, which a lot of times they're really nervous for the tournament. They have, they're running around all the different directions. I just, again, make sure that whoever is running the check-in, it might not be that person that you booked your tournament with. So even though the person you booked with said, oh yeah, of course, you're right next to the person checking in the names, you want to make friends with the woman who's actually doing it and is in charge of the registration tables that day. So make sure you're right next to the names list before any raffle ticket sales, goodie bags, t-shirts, whatever it might be that they're selling. You're in front of them before they can get lost in the mix. They're trying to grab their goodie bags and take off to go hang out with their buddies, grab their Bloody Marys, go warm up, and go probably do like putting contests and stuff like that. So the next thing I would do with that extra, ample amount of time that you have is I would go introduce yourself to the contact of the golf course, especially if you've never been there. So you want to be like, hey, I've been the one that has been coordinating with you. I just want to go over, like, once again, the $100,000 shootout. I would also go over like, okay, you guys are putting the markers out on this hole for this contest, right? And so on. But I think that the most important thing to get squared away with them is the shootout, because they are going to be in charge of announcing the names for you. Of course, you'll come up and bring them, or a lot of times that person will come over and be like, hey, I'm going to grab them from you in 5 minutes. Okay. And so I'm like, okay, great. Thank you for letting me know. You give them those 4 names from the scratch cards, or however you want to do it, but they're announcing them, and then they are organized on what they're telling those 4 shootout participants what they will need, which is their ball, their 150-yard club, a tee if they want to. And then if the course can go ahead and mark it ahead of time what that exact 150-yard spot is for us, then that would be amazing, because just going out to the 150-yard mark is not good enough, especially for $100,000. So if they can go out ahead of time, shoot it, with their rangefinder and mark it somehow, then that is ideal. And a lot of them will do that. And then the last part would be transporting those 4 golfers smoothly, because what I have also seen is they announce them and they're like, well, how do we get there? So now they're walking, they're trying to get their, cart in between all the carts that are already set up out there. It's a nightmare. So if you can make sure that they either have one of those really big, transport carts of like 6 people or so, then awesome. Or if they'll just put some off to the side, then a lot of them will do that too. Have 2 or 3 carts ready for your shootout participants, but also yourself. So you can make sure that you're there to witness it. And then a lot of times it's like a photographer or somebody with that organization. But outside of just checking in with the tournament, checking in with the golf course, then you've got to hurry up and get out to your fundraiser holes, go set those up, and then get back to registration before you miss anybody. And there's definitely more stress on this if you're selling a package at registration, because you don't want to miss anybody, but if it's built in, you can be a little bit more lax. But really, I'm like, being prompt will definitely settle whoever's putting on the tournament, so that they're not stressed at all. They trust that you are in control and on top of everything. Okay, so this is going to be give you a couple examples of setting up. What I realized when I put this in here, that I am pretty positive that every single one of these is built in. The only one that might not be is this one. So our placement wasn't as, I guess, of an issue, because it was already built in. They're just going to come play their scratch card game, get our little, print off of the super ticket. But if you're selling it, again, make sure you're right after that list before anything else can be sold in front of you, or could get them like off track, and end up like going around you. Okay, so let's play these, and I'm going to see if you guys can hear the video.
Man, we got to bring this from brand new. I'll put a song on this, don't worry. Lady. No. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, ladies. And gentlemen. Oh, hey guys.
Really good. You guys probably.
Hi guys.
Okay, so these give you a couple examples of setups. So you guys can see that. Now, I really want you guys to see what kind of like verbiage we use when we're doing the scratch card game in particular. So I'm really excited that Leslie threw this together from the For the Fallen tournament that we just did out here in March. So this is pretty accurate. You will hear me say that we're giving out AirPods to the winner, which is no longer. It's either the Cancun trip or the Hero Program Savings Pass, depending on the package that you choose.
One little golf ball to scratch off. Whoever has the highest number today wins a pair of AirPods. Oh, great. Play one. So you'll just pick any card. We'll write your name and phone number, and then pick one little golf ball to scratch off. Whoever has the highest number ends up winning a pair of AirPods. That is pretty good. Yeah, good job.
No.
I don't have the penny work the best. Your play. Okay, yours. So you get some more. Oh, that is a good one. Good job, Leslie.
My voice.
Right.
See?
Yep, anyone. The lucky one. One to scratch. Whoever has the highest number today wins a pair of AirPods. You just make sure your name and phone number or email get on the bottom. Yep, this one. And for you guys.
Okay. So
And can I add something, Audra?
Yeah, please.
Oh my gosh, I just wanted to say, first of all, that you're doing amazing with this presentation, and this is so valuable, and this is going to be one that people can play back and learn something from each time they listen to it. But for those of you that may have had trouble hearing the audio, I heard the audio pretty well. We will be able to send out these specific videos to everybody through the group me chat. So maybe Audra and I will just make sure that we get them out to all of the RVPs so they can send them out separately in their group chats on GroupMe. But we will also make sure that you guys get these videos so you can review and really, really hear exactly what Audra is saying. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. That's perfect. Okay, so here's for some fun stuff. This is our $100,000 shootout. And I don't know if this will help, but I'll turn my volume up as loud as it can go in case that helps. And then do so on your own devices as well, just in case.
All right, you guys, we just announced the 4 people who are going to be in the $100,000 shootout. So they're getting them together right now with their 150-yard club, a ball, and a tee. We're going to go take them out 150 yards from the closest green to the clubhouse. So let's see who is going to go first.
What is it? 150? They said?
If you guys want to circle around, then we'll just do like a tee. Let's see who's going to go first. You guys ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. All right, let's see. You're first. Guys will get it out of the way, right? Second.
Okay. All right.
All right, you guys. Oh. Audra.
I'll
We'll
take
say
it. All
third
right,
and
third.
fourth.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Be last.
You guys are welcome to tee it up if you'd like to. You guys each get one shot. Whoever makes it in, we'll split the $100,000 shootout with the For the Fallen. And then whoever gets closest to the pin, I need your guys' help, wins a pair of Oakley sunglasses.
Okay, I can do some.
All right.
Starting out. Good luck, everybody. Come on, somebody win it. I'll try. About a fifth round first. Run it up there.
They're even?
We present you with a pair of sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Oh, I'll be styling.
Yes.
I'll be styling with these.
So one thing I would love to add is that cute little Bob Shamimi here. He is also running his own golf tournament in October at the same golf course. And because of everything he saw at the For the Fallen golf tournament, he's mimicking everything that they did because he had such a great time. So it just so happened he was one of the winners of the $100,000 shootout. But I'm so excited that he was there that day, got to see what we offer, and now we're doing everything for his event as well. So keep that in mind while you're out there and running things. But really, I'm like, this is my last slide to kind of go over as far as closing out the event to make sure that you're good to go. And then we'll open it up to see if anybody has any questions. But you want to make sure, of course, to give the tournament contact, their prizes along with that reconciliation form so they know who won, what prize for which contest. And then a lot of times I will say that they do ask you to announce it. But I would say the other half of the time they're just going to fit it in with the rest of their announcements or whatever they're talking about for their charity or the organization. And so they're good as long as they are organized on who wins what, and then they understand which prizes are for which things. When you do go over that reconciliation form, have them sign that so they agree that you did give them those prizes and that you went over payment. So if you sold it at registration, are you paying them? Which I'm assuming you are, because you guys are all going to kill it, right? You guys are going to sell way over 50% of however many golfers they have planned to be out there. And so you'll want to break down what that looked like. Hey, I sold, 95 super tickets at registration out of, the 100 golfers that you were expecting. So here's what we gave back. And then this is the money from those super ticket sales. And then if it was built in, do they owe you the day of? Did they go ahead and pay ahead of time? Most times that does not happen at my events. So they can either give you cash, they can write a check to Elite, or they can have a card. They can give you a card to run, but we generally want to run those cards through corporate. So you would want to give Amanda or somebody at corporate a heads up. So then that way she's expecting your call. But what I did just do this last weekend is I finally figured out, with Dominic's help out here in Florida, how to go ahead and set up your square so that those fees are charging them, whether they're, running their card on a fundraiser hole out on that hole, or if it's a tournament that's swiping their card to go ahead and pay for the packages. And so what I'll do is in the email with this training link, I'll also put in those instructions. Dominic, you're a genius. Thank you so much for showing me how to do it and then breaking it down so that we can teach everybody how to have anybody that's donating through our square pay the fees themselves. But at this time, what questions do you guys have? Does anybody else have any other, recommendations or just anything that you feel like the team would need to know on this topic?
Audra, can you just briefly explain your process just for that video of you doing the $100,000 shootout? Can you explain your process of the tee and how you choose the people to go first?
Oh yeah. So I wonder if I have a tee somewhere in the office. basically your tee, right? Say that this is the part where your ball would go on top of, and then this is the part that goes into the ground. What the idea is behind that is have them circle around you, so you're in the middle of them, and when you flick the tee, then the pointy end, whoever it's like pointing at or is closest to, then that's how I'd figure out who's going first, second, third, or fourth, so that I didn't have to decide, they didn't have to decide, they're all nervous anyway. And so it takes that out of it, and whatever the T is pointing at is who's going.
That's perfect. Thank you. And we don't have any questions in the chat at this time, but this is the time to ask your questions because I know it's a lot of information and this has been a really amazing 3-week workshop that Audra's put us through. So please ask away.
Audra, what I do on that $100,000 shootout
Yeah.
is when the tournament people, the charity, I have them choose the cards.
Okay.
And as they pull them out, that's number 1, that's number 2, that's number 3, and that's number 4.
Okay.
And so they go in that order.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And so the usually it's the golf course that calls them, hey, they're coming up, and I have them call them in that order as well and keep them in that order.
Big number 1 right here.
Yeah. And then I put the 1, 2, 3, 4 on the cards. And then when we go out together, I just line them up. It's number 1, it's number 2, it's number 3, it's number 4. But
that's a great idea.
Yeah, it just keeps everybody like, and I have to say, it's nervous. That's nerve-wracking going out there and having people watch you and stuff. But how exciting, to go for that $100,000 shootout. It's really an exciting time. So
yeah. No, I love that. Thank you for that tip. I'm like, I haven't done it that way, so I like that. Them hearing a couple different ways, and you guys might even come up with your own. So let us know as you start doing these how you do it, But if we don't have any other questions, honestly, I'm so excited for you guys to do your own player packages coming up soon. We will end the recording here shortly just so that we can keep it concise, so we can use this for training purposes when people are coming on. Now we already have the footage, so let us know if you think of anything later, but if not, we'll sign off.